doubt that the same waters washed the eastern shores of Asia and the west coast of Europe. Thus, when Ferdinand V sent Columbus into those waters to reach the Indies, he was breaking the oath he had sworn at Alcabas and defying papal excommunication. Woo. Let that sink in. I know there was a lot we read. This is a lot of information. This is a lot. The $1.99 that you have paid to receive this information supersedes anything. Just from reading this should change your life forever, especially if you live in the Americas. So I'm gonna give you 15 seconds to let this sink in. We're gonna talk about it. All right, cool. So all of this was conquered illegally, going against their own word. Isn't it amazing how you can have courts, judges, even officers that uphold a law on stolen land that was created by papal bulls that were incredibly wicked, while simultaneously breaking your own papal bull that you created to steal belongings that don't belong to you? Isn't that amazing? Alexander VI Intercaetera Bull, the name of which was hardly chosen by accident, addressed and amended, therefore, an established framework of papal grants and a changed geopolitical reality, as Spain seemed to have discovered the western route to Asia. Its first version was ostensibly written on May the 3rd, but it had in fact entered the Vatican registry by the end of April 1493. In order to avoid a violation of the stipulations of Atene Regis and the Treaty of Alcabas, which could have led to an open confrontation with Portugal and an excommunication like they told us, the Pope granted the Spanish monarchs only those lands that at the time of their discovery were not ruled by a Christian prince, and made it very clear that no right conferred on any Christian prince is hereby to be understood as withdrawn or to be withdrawn. So what that means is this is how America was conquered. You hear me? This is how America was created. On a fluke. On a fluke. I mean, when we get spiritually with it though, and I'm not going to do you like that right now, we know it was for a purpose. But with their logic, it was a fluke. Let's keep reading. This could hardly have been satisfactory to the crowns of Castile and Aragon, who, informed already about the results of Columbus's first voyage, feared the Portuguese would enter a discovery race in the West, for which in 1493 they were far better positioned than Castile and Aragon. You hear me? Alexander's second version of Intercaetera, dated only one day later, May the 4th, but written probably months after the first version. Let's read it again. These are the leaders of the world. This shows you their wickedness. Alexander's second version of Intercaetera, dated only one day later, May the 4th, but written probably months after the first version, reproduces in large part the same text as the May 3rd version, but with one twice mentioned addition. The May 4th bull establishes a demarcation line for the spheres of the Spanish and Portuguese interests from the north to the South Pole, 100 leagues to the west and south of any of the islands that are usually called the Azores and Cape Verde. Okay. So we're gonna leave that alone for right now. That's Antikythera though. Okay. This is Antikythera. All right. Now let's see Romanus Pontifex, and we're gonna end this series. This series may only be these 3 videos. That's all you need. You paid $1 a video. Was it worth it? Not even $1 a video. You paid 75 cents a video. Was it worth it? I think it was. Let's look at Romanus Pontifex. This is what it looks like. Okay. This is Romanus Pontifex, but let's actually read it because it's vital. The bull, Romanus Pontifex, Nicholas V, January 8th, 1454. Nicholas, bishop, servant of gods, for a perpetual remembrance, the Roman pontiff, successor of the key bearer of the heavenly kingdom and vicar of Jesus Christ, contemplating with a father's mind all the several climes of the world and the characteristics of all the nations dwelling in them, and seeking and desiring the salvation of all. Then it's like the church today. That's what the church taught. This is what the church tells you. All these churches tell you this. Wholesomely ordains and disposes upon careful deliberation those things which he sees will be agreeable to the divine majesty, and by which he may bring the sheep entrusted to him by God into the single divine fold, and may acquire for them the reward of eternal felicity, and obtain pardon for their souls. You hear me? This is how the church thinks. Eternal felicity. Obtain pardon for their souls. Man, what? This we believe will more certainly come to pass through the aid of the Lord, if we bestow suitable favors and special great graces on those Catholic kings and princes who, like athletes and intrepid champions of the Christian faith, as we know by the evidence of facts, not only restrain the savage excesses of the Saracens and of other infidels, enemies of the Christian name, but also for the defense and increase of the faith, vanquish them and their kingdoms and habitations, those situated in the remotest parts unknown to us, and subject them to their own temporal dominion, sparing no labor and expense, in order that those kings and princes, relieved of all obstacles, may be the more animated to the prosecution of so salutary and laudable a work. Okay? I know that's a lot. But basically what this says is this. If you're not a Christian, you're getting crucified. That's what it says. Romanus Pontifex. Let's keep reading though. These are the pagans. We have lately heard, not without great joy and gratification, how our beloved son, the noble personage Henry Infante of Portugal, uncle of our most dear son in Christ, the illustrious Alfonso, king of the kingdoms of Portugal and Algarve, treading in the footsteps of John of famous memory, king of the said kingdoms, his father, and greatly inflamed with zeal for the salvation of souls and with fervor of faith, as a Catholic and true soldier of Christ, the creator of all things, and a most active and courageous defender and intrepid champion of the faith in him, has aspired from his early youth with his utmost might to cause the most glorious name of the said creator to be published, extolled, and revered throughout the whole world. This is your world. This is your worldwide religion. This is your one world government. This is it right here. Even in the most remote and undiscovered places. This is before America was created. And also to bring into the bosom of his faith the perfidious enemies of him. Enemies? And of the life-giving cross, by which we have redeemed. Namely, the Saracens, or Moors, and all other infidels whatsoever. And how, after the city of Ceuta, situated in Africa, we're going to talk about Ceuta later on, had been subdued by the said King John to his dominion, and after many wars had been waged, sometimes in person, by the said Infante, although in the name of the said King John, against the enemies and infidels aforesaid, not without the greatest labors and expense, and with dangers and loss of life and property, and the slaughter of very many of their natural subjects. So the citizens of the slaughter of very many of their citizens. The said Infante being neither enfeebled nor terrified by so many and great labors, dangers and losses, but growing daily more and more zealous in prosecuting this his so laudable and pious purpose, has people with Orthodox Christians certain solitary islands in the ocean sea. This is why you have all, this is why it's called, this is why these islands are called Commonwealth Islands. This is why. I lost my spot. Oh, and has caused churches and other pious places to be there founded and built, in which divine service is celebrated. So wherever you see all these quote unquote ancient Roman structures, which are not really that ancient, they only existed for about 400 years. But wherever you see these ancient Roman structures, especially in America, understand great bloodshed is in the ground right there. You hear me? You hear me? Also by the laudable endeavor and industry of the said Infante, very many inhabitants or dwellers in divers islands situated in the said sea, coming to the knowledge of the true God, have received holy baptism to the praise and glory of God, the salvation of the souls of many, the propagation also of the Orthodox faith, and the increase of divine worship. This is also why you see all of these islands and most of the quote what we call foreigners, especially the Latin community. This is why they're all Roman Catholics. They don't even understand, they don't even know why they are Roman Catholics, but Roman Catholicism was pushed upon you, by force. Let's keep reading though. Moreover, since some time ago, it had come to the knowledge of the said Infante that never, nor at least not within the memory of men, had it been customary to sail on this ocean sea toward the southern and eastern shores, and that it was so unknown to us Westerners that we had no certain knowledge of the people of those parts. They didn't know who was over here, believing that he would best perform his duty to God in this matter, if by his effort and industry that sea might become navigable as far as to the Indians who are said to worship in the name of Christ, and that thus he might be able to enter into relation with them and to incite them to aid the Christians against the Saracens, the Moors, and other such enemies of the faith, and might also be able forthwith to subdue certain Gentile or pagan peoples living between, who are entirely free from infection by the sect of the most impious Mohammed, and to preach and cause to be preached to them the unknown but most sacred name of Christ. Strengthened, however, always by the royal authority, he has not ceased for 25 years past to send almost yearly an army of the peoples of the said kingdoms with the greatest labor, danger, and expense in very swift ships called caravels to explore the sea and coastlands toward the south and in the Antarctic pole. Okay, I'm gonna end it right there. This is why you see Islam is like the boogeyman to Christians. Islam is like the boogeyman to Christians, but they're not even understanding that Christians were the boogeyman to Muslims. Let's keep reading. I ain't done. And so it came to pass that when a number of ships of this kind had explored and taken possession of very many harbors, islands, and seas, they at length came to the province of Guinea. New Guinea. Here we go. And having taken possession of some islands and harbors and the sea adjacent to their province, sailing farther, they came to the mouth of a certain great river commonly supposed to be the Nile. And war was raged for some years against the peoples of those parts in the name of the said King Alfonso and of the Infante. And in very many islands in that neighborhood were subdued and peacefully possessed, as they are still possessed together with the adjacent sea. Thence also many Guineamen and other Negroes taken by force, and some by barter of unprohibited articles, or by other lawful contract of purchase, have been sent to the said kingdoms. A large number of these have been converted to the Catholic faith, and it is hoped by the help of divine mercy that if such progress be continued with them, either those people will be converted to the faith, or at least the souls of many of them will be gained for Christ by force, by the sword. You hear me? This is telling you who the Christians are going to war with. It's right here. Modern day Christianity is racist. I'm gonna leave it like that. It has always been. The thing is, you have to understand where you come from. You have to understand why this nation was created, how it was created, and the things that progressed thereafter. Then you will understand people were already here in these lands. They had kingdoms and dukedoms. They had power that was ravishly taken away from them by force in the name of Jesus. So when you see things like Alabama and other things, it shouldn't surprise you. You shouldn't feel a certain type of way. As a matter of fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ride the Alabama way. I'm going to make the opening picture to this series, the Alabama thing. So it's going to make people click. It's going to make you click. Matter of fact, I'm just going to take a picture of the hat. But listen to me. If anybody is a Christian out there, I want you to just understand what dumb diverses is. That's the whole doctrine of discovery. This isn't to attack you personally, okay? But it's to give you the truth about the faith that many of us have been tricked to believe in. It's the leaders. It's always been the leaders, right? But now is the time to allow this truth to get into your spirit, and to cast aside fallacies, man. We're coming into a time and age right now where we don't have time to even play. We don't have time to be separated by any factor. Your skin complexion, your classism, all of that is really irrelevant at this point. The only thing that is relevant is your spirit and where your spirit is. And when you read the Doctrine of Discovery, you now understand why all these things are happening, especially in the Americas, because that was the original spirit. That was the original spirit of America. We can't hide from it. Just embrace it. All right. I hope that $2 that you use, I feel I get like $139. All praises. I appreciate that. I hope it bless you. If you like this message, please share it, pass it on. You see at the bottom of the screen, other ways you can reach out. Okay. Also, my link tree is on my actual TikTok profile. If you want to send me an email or something like that, contact me. That's there as well. But I'll have more series coming. I didn't know I can do this, but now I figured it out, and we will see what happens. Who knows if TikTok will even let this stay up? You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see. Y'all be blessed. We'll talk soon. All praise to the Most High. Shalom. Go in peace.